Hello out there and welcome to Public Conscience. This is the anti-corruption program produced by the Progressive Impact Organization for Community Development, PRIMOG. PRIMOG is a civil society group with a mandate to promote good governance, participation, and accountability in Nigeria. I am Adaobi Obiabumo and I'm with Chidozie Ogbonnaya.
Welcome to the program.
On Public Conscience on Radio, we seek to evolve a corruption-free society through the amplification of corruption stories reported by our partner media organizations and drawing citizens and government attention for democratic actions against it. This program is supported by the MacArthur Foundation.
Today we will continue with the conversation we started last week on the reported corruption at the local government level, specifically on illegal and arbitrary taxes demanded by officials of Abuja Municipal Area Council, AMAC, which is affecting thousands of businesses.
We will also touch on the area of abuse of powers and administrative corruption in Nigeria's public service. So, are you a taxi driver, tailor, food vendor, big or small business owners in Abuja? Today's discussion concerns you and I. Last week, we had many business owners and Abuja residents lament indiscriminate taxes and extortion by some AMAC officials. Today, we have another victim of arbitrary taxes and extortion by some AMAC officials to share her experience. And we also have a representative of AMAC joining us to respond to the allegations and set the record straight. Citizens are very concerned about accountability of these multiple taxes and levies collected by some AMAC officials year in, year out. And as a business owner in Abuja, are you aware of all the taxes and levies that are required of you to pay?
Be ready to join us through phone and text messages in the course of the conversation. The WhatsApp phone line to send your message is 09022656167. That is 09022656167. This is for messages only.
I want to encourage you to begin to send your messages as soon as possible to 0902-265-6167. The numbers for calls will be given out shortly. Following an investigative report published by the International Center for Investigative Reporting, ICIR, business owners in Abuja last week revealed that their businesses are under serious threat owing to extortion and arbitrary taxes demanded by some AMAC officials. A business owner told us here last week that business owners are subjected to pay about 10 different taxes and levies yearly without prior information by AMAC officials.
Although the bylaws of AMAC, amended in 2019, empowers AMAC to collect taxes and levies on a wide range of ventures, the tax collection system is bedeviled by the reign of administrative corruption, which have infiltrated our public service.
Of course, Dozier, public administration is supposed to promote a smooth, effective, and efficient bureaucratic system in a country. But corruption has penetrated so deep into the public administration. You can see it clearly in the way and manner of public office holders abuse the positions that they occupy.
I agree with you, Adobe. A lot of public office holders have abused the powers at their disposal before now. The imprisonment of former Plateau State Governor Joshua Dariye, the removal of former acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ibrahim Magu, and most recently, the suspension of DCP Abakari over his relationship with fraudster Ramon Abbas, popularly called Hush Puppy, we are all due to administrative corruption.
We will soon introduce our guests, but let us quickly get the perspective of a senior lecturer. We are trying to establish contact with him. That is Dr. Sam Amadi, who is the head of Department Public and International Law at Bayes University. While we're still waiting to establish contact with him, we have in the studio a concerned Nigerian, Chef Neka. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
We also have in the studio a representative from AMAC. He is Honorable Danlami Awaje, Chief Revenue Officer. AMAC, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Madi, okay, thank you so much for joining us on the program today.
Thank you.
Pressure of extraditing Super Cop Abakare is piling up. What is the procedure for extradition, and how do allegations against the celebrated cop affect Nigeria's fight against corruption?
Well, thank you, first, and good morning again. First is, look, the procedure for extradition is very clear. It's derived from international law and domestic law. So two things are important. First, to distinguish between extradition a national of the country that another country. So the country is requesting that country to repatriate or send back its citizen, its national, to face trial. A good example is the case of Sandogo, where Nigeria is asking the Republic to send back a Nigerian. Now, the second instance of extradition is when the country wants another country to send either its own citizen or a citizen of a third country that is either transiting residents in its country to another country. So in that case, Nigeria could request, let's say, America to bring back an American citizen, or let's say British citizen who lives in America. That is the concept of it. In all these circumstances, the critical thing, two things. One is the existence of extradition treaty. The extradition treaty is extradition law. That law authorizes that country to send back foreign nationals who are wanted for crime in their country or a third country. So that law is the first domestic authorization. It's based on the Extradition Convention, International Law Convention, that respects two things. First, respects sovereignty of countries. The countries are sovereign. You can't come to a country and take away somebody to face trial in your own country, because there is a need for extra protocol, extra jurisdictional implication. But again, the second issue is respect, that the commitment to the fact that criminal action should be punished. So the law balances two things: that the country is sovereign, therefore you can't just invade it. Secondly, we can't allow impunity. Criminal actions, actions like egregious in nature, should be punished. And when people escape to a third country, there should be some level of recognition between them. Now, in the case of the recent case of MacArthur, the issue first is that the U.S. Nigeria has always been responsive to international law, especially when it comes to Britain and the U.S. So there will be a high level of recognition and respect for the integrity of the courts in the U.S. So in court has been an indictment. That means it's not just a case of shopping for evidence. There's credible evidence enough to warrant a trial. That's what indictment means to the U.S. Because under amendment, the Fifth Amendment, you cannot issue an indictment or a search warrant against any person except that's what you call probable cause. So there's no evidence that's a link between the crime. The Nigerian government will most likely recognize that this is a valid process. The Nigerian government will most likely either extradite him or maybe ask the U.S. to say, look, we have a good jurisdiction here. This offense is a crime in Nigeria. Could we allow us to try it here? Now, that may not fly much because the Nigerian criminal justice system has not had that level of credibility. We've seen many instances of high-profile persons who are involved in government states with the packets who have been brought to book in this case of cases. So the U.S. might see it as a way of Nigeria avoiding commitment, honoring first as a diplomatic kind of attack. Secondly, as evidence of
Dr. Amadi.
The government has never been credible. So I think they will likely honor that resolution because there will be a treaty that's is backed up by international law, and it looks like it's good fit.
All right, Dr. Amadi, let me come in here. Thank you for the enlightenment on the procedures and process. While much of the attention is focused on the federal government, a lot of abuse and corruption is going on in the states and local government. Here in Abuja, multiple taxation from the Abuja Municipal Area Council is grounding businesses. What is the limit of councils in tax and rates collection?
Yes, very good question. The Nigerian state subnational entity is probably the most bankrupt, the most violative of human rights, and basically corrupt to the brim. So we focus on federal government, but state governments are the worst. Now, councils have rights to tax based on three things. So I look at the structure of legislative competence. There are federal subject matters, in which case, in Abuja here, you will be subject to federal legislation. Now, the irony, the tragedy in FCT is that the same National Assembly makes law for FCT. So what that means, therefore, that most of the federal taxes that apply for federal workers will apply for FCT, except they are made only for federal civil service or federal business. So FCT people are going to have problems dealing with navigating federal taxation, federal laws that impose duties, dealing with the FCT and area councils. Ideally, there should be not multiple taxation because it's essential to business. But what is happening is that there's no clarity in terms of sitting back, and the public officials in FCT, the councils, are more concerned with revenue. And today in Nigeria, because of the state of public financing and the fact that our tax system has not been robust enough to capture what should be captured, the small industries, the small medium enterprises are the victims because the cost of getting them to pay is low. So these area councils go for small businesses. I think in terms of Julius Berger, you'd be shocked that maybe even though it's a resident of Abuja, he might not be paying anything to the FCT, area councils and FCT. He might be paying to federal government. And because they have no capacity to compel them, they will leave them and go to the small business persons, small micro enterprises, in fact, and even other persons, and overtax them. I have an office here, they come up to you with ground rent, they come with all kinds of environmental, even waste disposal, the way there are no waste to dispose. So the problem is first, auditing. Nobody sits back to audit. Secondly, legal challenge. We have not been very good in going to court to challenge all these things, and clearly establish the limit of the taxing power. So put this way, the area councils have taxing power for areas, businesses that are localized, and for things that, for example, areas, things that have to do with maybe cultural use of local resources. But the way they tax people who are in FCT, who are subject to both the FCT and federal government tax power, creates multiplicity, and that's what the fact that Abuja is one of the states. Abuja is a federal territory. Abuja is subject to federal legislature. Abuja is subject to FCT, council legislature. So at the end of the day, you see that Abuja residents are receiving dual legislative interventions and there's nobody synchronizing them, and that leads to multiple taxation. I think that's something that is very injurious to income in Abuja.
All right, we must thank you very much. Because of our time, we have to go. But thank you for coming in this morning with your thoughts.
Thank you.
Let's quickly get to Chef Nneka. Like I said earlier, if you're just joining us, you're on to Public Conscience on radio. It is a production of Primark, the Progressive Impact Organization for Community Development. Chef Nneka, thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Could you share your experience of the multiple taxation and extortion by some AMAC officials while doing your business?
Okay, wow, I've been in food business for like 10 years in Abuja, and it has not been funny. Like sometimes you just want to give up because of the way, this boy is just badging on you. Sometimes they get you notice and they are telling you that you have to pay a particular amount of money in 48 hours. And being what it is, we are not enlightened. Like you are going into food business, this and this and this is what you're supposed to pay. So for me, there are particular incidences. There's one that happened last year. Talking about multiple taxation. So they come up with all manner of things. Like I've done a delivery part of my food business for 7 years. And we were paying to AMAC 11,000 every year. And then last year, they come up, there's one that said they are doers. So, it was a lot of fight between us and them, and now they had to say, okay, you pay doers, you pay AMAC. That's just for my delivery.
Doers is, what is doers?
Acronym for what?
I can't even remember.
Okay.
It's an acronym for Department of Outdoor Advertisement and Signages. It's a department under the FCT, not AMAC.
Okay.
Anyway, when we
Okay,
get to that, I will refer to that.
so we pay for that, and we pay for our bike also to AMAC, and then we pay for health, and then the turn that the health one took last year during COVID, because I can remember we were summoned to magistrate court in Wuse Zone 2 that they can't take this test we run with General Hospital, which is where I run tests for all my food handlers. So they are saying that whatever we do with Wuse General Hospital, they can't recognize it. So they came up with a private lab that does it for them. So we pay to private lab, and then we pay them the environment or health rather for the certificate. Then there's the one they call radio and TV license. Then there's the one they call outdoor, like your adverts. You need to pay for that one. Then there's business premises. Then, in fact, yesterday.
So what you're trying to say is that there are lots of taxes
like
and levies
they
and
come
small...
up with everything every other month. There was one month they said that we need to bring certificate of habitation. I told them it's a crap. I won't even I told them I won't even address it, because
So is it monthly or
okay,
yearly that
for
you
those
make
things
this payment?
you are supposed to pay annually.
Okay.
For most of them you're supposed to pay annually, but you know there are different things underlying in because you would have paid January. For me, I make sure I pay my own January, because if you don't, they keep harassing you until you pay.
Like up to the how many taxes do you pay in let's say in a year?
In a year I pay for the bikes 2, then for health, for environment, for business premises, for the health is food handlers, then for the outdoor signage, then radio and TV license. It goes on and on. And just yesterday I was served another paper that is in the new place I opened in Gwarimpa. I'm going to pay 300,000 for gas emission.
Okay.
Okay, it's good that we have Honorable Dan Lami Awaje, the Chief Revenue Officer from AMAC, to respond to some of these issues. What do you have to say? Because last week we also had a business owner who also lamented of the numerous taxes. What is the exact number and amount of tax rates that small businesses, from what Dr. Amadi said, but because the National Assembly are the ones that make legislation for the federal and AMAC and FCT, so the tendency for people to pay double tax is there. So what do you have to say to all of these issues and that one raised by Chef Neka?
Well, thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here today, because the issue of taxation in AMAC has been a recurring issue that we have been trying to address. But let me start this way. AMAC is a creation of the law, and its operations is strictly guided by the law. Revenue collection, of course, internally generated revenue is source of revenue to the council in addition to the federation allocation. And every local government is expected to harness its revenue. But in collection of revenue, AMAC particularly, we don't collect any revenue that is not provided by the law. We have the Constitution, which spells out what the third tier of government is supposed to collect. We have also the Taxes and Levies Approved List for Collection Act, number 21 of 1998, which clearly defines what revenue each tier of government is supposed to collect. Part 1 spells out what the federal government is supposed to collect. Part 2 spells out what the state is supposed to collect. And Part 3 spells out clearly what the local government is supposed to collect. Now, when people, under this, if you go through the list, you will discover that the area council or the local government has about 21 revenue items listed there.
21
yes,
revenue items.
Yes. 21 revenue items listed under the Taxes and Levies Approved List for Collection Act 1998. Now, the issue of multiple taxation, as complained by so many operators, is arising from what kind of business are you doing and what are the things that you put in place. For instance, if I have a place where I'm doing my business, there I put a very big signboard advertising my business. The law provides that we should collect revenue for that, and we will serve you demand notice on that. If you have radio, television, because all these things they are talking, they are all listed in these laws that I have explained to you.
And there's a fixed amount for each of these items.
Yeah, the bylaw, AMAC has a bylaw, and the bylaw is where the rates are provided, because the law say collect this, but how much do you charge is spelled out in the bylaw, and according to the nature, the size, and the type of business you carry out.
Okay, it's good that you have said that, because on this program last week, one of our guests said that he was asked to pay for certificate of fitness for continual habitation. A particular year he was asked to pay 500, the next year 250, another the preceding year 450. So it does appear that there's no fixed amount, or maybe some AMAC officials use that as an opportunity to extort business owners. So what is AMAC doing to this? Because he did also mention that he has brought the notice of the council to some of these extortion done by some AMAC officials. What is AMAC doing to ensure that citizens, genuine business owners, are not extorted? Yes, these rates are fixed, but in the process of collecting this revenue, some AMAC officials actually extort business owners. What is the council doing to ensure that it handles the issue of extortion and corruption?
I have always made it clear, anytime I have opportunity like this, I call on business people operating within AMAC that anytime you receive a bill that you don't understand, don't hesitate. I have always make my numbers available. Call me, confirm that this thing. If I am not satisfied, I will invite you to my office and I will tell you whether that demand notice is a genuine one or not. Because Abuja today, there is infiltration of so many people that are claiming to be AMAC. I read one of the this thing that you people sent. The person there is never a staff of AMAC. We've never known him to be a staff of AMAC, but he's posing out there to the business environment that is a staff of AMAC. So let me come. So we have always said it. If, for instance, this habitation you are talking about, the law that says we should collect this habitation thing is once in 3 years.
Once in 3 years?
Yes. If it is a new structure, new building, once an inspection is done, you'll be issued a certificate. The first certificate lasts for 5 years. Then after the 5 years, the subsequent inspection, you are expected to pay only after 3 years, not every year.
Yearly.
Not yearly. And that is why I keep saying, if some people come out there and tell you we are from AMAC, yes, listen to them, but confirm from us. Because there are many thieves and area boys that are just moving in the name of AMAC.
The report also says that some of these officials ask business owners to pay into their personal account.
Which AMAC can never do that. Because AMAC, we have remitter platform where we ask all our taxpayers to pay their money, generate RRR, pay it through remitter, come with the evidence of payment, and obtain official receipt from my office.
How did you the business owners, does all of them have your phone number? Because you said here that you always tell them, but if you don't publicize this,
We have done a lot of publications, both on print and electronic media. In fact, from the day we introduced Remitter in AMAC in 2016, which commenced operations in 2017, AMAC has always published its notices, paid newspaper publications, and my numbers are always provided there. And we said, please, if you have any challenge with any taxpayer revenue officials, please call this number and get clarification. If you can't, come to the council. So we have also organized town hall meetings on revenue issues severally.
Okay, before we ask you the follow-up question and Chef Nneka, it's time for us to get the listener to join the conversation.
And also want to remind you to follow us on our social media platforms at Official Primorg. Primorg is spelled Primorg.
What is your experience with AMAC officials who collect taxes in Abuja? How can we ensure accountability in the taxes and levies collected by AMAC officials? And how can we address the increasing abuse of power among public office holders? Want to call in and share your experience with us? Okay, we have a first call. Hello. Okay, let's hear you. Your name and where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Katampe.
Okay, go ahead.
On the issue of AMAC, I have a similar experience with them. Our office is located at Lebanon, where we are asked to pay for tenement trade into a one UPA account, two of it for AMAC, which we did. Not a remittance platform as stated by the revenue officer there in the speech. And again, we were now served another letter to go and pay for an inspection, sanitation inspection fee of 120,000 naira. Which I don't know when that one is. We are in a plaza, and the plaza has been paid as paid for that. They now add up as individual offices to pay for 120,000 naira again for inspection fee, which I don't know why that one is coming up from.
Okay, thank you. The Chief Revenue Officer will respond to the issues you have raised. But before then, let's get to Chef Nneka.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, Chef Nneka, when all these things, the taxes, everything going on, did you take any step to draw the attention of the authority to the multiple taxes? Did you make any official complaint as a group or individual?
No, we've not complained. We are still, because the food, most of the food vendors, most of them are not on board yet. So we are still trying to, see how all of us can be speaking with one voice, so that we are doing that. We are trying to do that this year, so that by the end of the year, we'll be able to go to them and they tell us what are we supposed to pay. How much, what qualifies this particular business? Is it by building? Is it by the number of customers? Is it by your years of operation that you pay such and such amount? So that we'll be able to know that going forward, we've already discussed that in various of our platforms.
Okay.
Going forward, this is what
I think let me advise in this
Hello.
case.
All right.
So
Okay.
Hello. Your name and where you're calling from.
Calling from Garrity.
Okay, let's hear you.
Okay, I had an issue with AMAC one time or several times where they bring a bill to your house and they write their personal numbers and their name. Then when you call them, they'll ask you to call them. When you call them, they'll be asking you to pay money into the account so they'll clear the bill for you, their own personal account. Several times that I've had an experience with them like that. But meanwhile, they have a number, an official number on the bill.
Did you call the official number?
They bring to your house. But they still write their personal number and their name. They're taxing you to pay money into their account so they'll clear your bill. So I think that's
Okay, just keep listening. I think Honorable Dan Lamy would provide his contact so that if you have issues like this, instead of paying to personal account, because he has said that you're not supposed to pay into a personal account, we could also call him when there are issues like this. Okay, let me take this other call. Hello, your name and where you're calling from.
Okay, my name is Osaze. I'm calling from Kurudu.
Let's hear you, Osaze.
Okay, yes. Thank you so much for this wonderful topic. Because I have an issue with some Mama staff. They came around my business premises and asked me to pay certain amounts for signages. And we know, I actually asked them who would actually charge, to collect money for signages, is it them or Joas? And he gave me one court order suggesting that AMAC won the case. So then I asked him, how much am I to pay for my signage outside? He now said it's negotiable. So I don't think that is correct. I want to ask the chairman of the revenue, whatever there, to tell us how much are we supposed to pay. It depends on the size of the signage or what it is. If they are the ones collecting the money, and how much are we to pay for that?
Okay, thank you so much. Just keep listening. He will respond to the issues raised. So how much is a business owner supposed to pay for signage?
Well, the signages are charged according to sizes. There are billboards, there are you see, we have the first party, second party, third party signages, and the charges are not the same. Third party signages, like you see this electronic big billboard you see around, these are charges differently. So I cannot tell you that this is the amount for it, but it's categorized and they are also charged based on sizes. Once you go through our tariff, you will see them according to
Are
the
your tariffs
sizes.
negotiable, sir?
Well, when you speak about negotiable, it's a different thing entirely. Because as the head of revenue, if you come to me with a complaint, as human being, we have to look at the prevailing economic situation of this country. And where it is necessary, we, come down from the tariff, not because that is not what you are supposed to pay, but because looking at the situation, I remember there was even a time the executive chairman of AMAC invited us and said, come, people are suffering. If somebody's bill is 10,000 naira, with the economic situation now, especially around that COVID-19 pandemic, he said, slash it to 50% in order to encourage people to make payment. So when you talk about negotiable, if you do the negotiation in the correct way, that is by coming to the office, we will give you the account number of the council for you to pay. But when a tout meet you on the road, or somebody who is carrying the demand notice tells you to give him some money for him to reduce at the end of the day,
it's good that you know that there are touts trying to extort money from business owners.
Of course,
have you
you
arrested any?
cannot argue, you cannot rule. When I started my comments here, I said there are miscreants all over the council. I didn't deny that. Moving in the name of AMAC.
Has there been any form of arrest? Have you arrested because
some of these miscreants?
Yes, last week on the program, the reporter with ICIR also said that he laid complaint in the council. Has there been any form of arrest?
I know that we've been making arrests and such people have been handed over to law enforcement agencies. I know that there was a time I arrested somebody who even attempted to forge my signature.
Wow.
Okay, talking about negotiation. Should people trying to negotiate and then coming to AMAC, would that not open some sort of door for corruption? Why not reduce for everybody? Just slash it and make it public so that if you're paying 100, you now tell me, let me know that it's 50, not until I come to your office to say, let's negotiate.
Okay, you have come to the point where I wanted to make advice. You see, there are organized associations like the HOFA, Hotel Owners Forum Association. As a team, they wrote officially to the council, taking cognizance of all the revenue that they know themselves that they are legally supposed to pay to the council, and say, come, Mr. Chairman, we are having problem because tourism industry is facing a lot of challenges, especially with the COVID-19. We want you to take a look at our bills and give us some kind of consideration. The council met, look at their tariffs, look at their other charges, because it's not only AMAC revenue they have to pay. They have other demands from other organizations. At the end of the day, the council approved a kind of rate for all the Hotel Owners Association offer, and we entered into an MOU with them.
Let's take another call. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Ayola from Lube.
Let's hear you, Ayola.
Please, I'm directing this question to the chairman.
Go ahead, he can hear you. 1 minute, please.
Okay, please, concerning this bicycle, maybe this e-logs. If they have any e-logs, there's no sticker of the company on it. It's not a commercial, it's a private. But there are some people that will come out, they will tell you that, oh, you have to get some paper of loading and uploading. And those papers, they will bring it out. And they will ask you to bring the cash immediately, not to pay to their cash, to bring the cash. Now, if you pay to them, when you get out of loading, you get to university, they will stop you. They will collect those papers, they will say there's some paper that is not complete out of that one. The same everything.
Okay, thank you. He would respond to your questions accordingly. But let's get to
let's
Chef
hear from Chef Nneka. Are you feeling the impact of the taxes you pay, and what do you want the AMAC administration to do against extortion and indiscriminate taxes?
Okay, but before you answer that, let me take this call. Hello. So your name and where you're calling from.
Thank you. This is Frederick calling from Jadi.
Let's hear you.
In relation to this question, the revenue officer from AMAC should get to understand that the public are aware of a conspiracy between a lot of touts with the revenue officials. Now, what is AMAC doing?
If I got you correctly, you want to know what AMAC is doing to ensure that those touts who extort citizens, they are removed or arrested.
For these levies we are paying, what are we benefiting? We are benefiting nothing. They are not doing anything for us. Take, for instance, the health department should not tell me that Wuse General Hospital, Gariki General Hospital, Asokoro General Hospital, that they cannot accept their certificates of fitness for our staff. It's totally wrong.
Let me make a quick response on this, please, because
I was going to come to you. All right.
Let me respond on this certificate she's talking about of test from either Gariki or which hospital. You see, what we are talking about here is we are talking about human health. You are producing food for human consumption. It's not just AMAC, but this is in collaboration with the FCT, Public Health Department, that we are carrying out this exercise. And we said that in order to be sure that what the people that are handling this food for human consumption, their health status should be ascertained. If we recognize certificates from any hospital, anybody can go out there, collect, pay money and collect certificate. But we want to monitor the real test to be sure that yes, You are being given certificate after being certified that you are in good health. So that is the reason why the FCT Public Health Department, in collaboration with Abuja Municipal Area Council, decided that this cannot just be left out in
so
the hands
there's a
of.
specific designated hospital.
Yes,
okay.
whereby officials of public health are there, in fact, handling and monitoring the entire thing.
Okay, good that you have responded to that. One of the callers also asked, should a private individual who owns hillocks pay for offloading and what did he say again? When you do not have any signage on the vehicle? Should a private individual pay for loading and offloading?
There is this under the mobile advert provision.
Okay.
Once you pay for mobile advert, it is an accumulation of about 12 different documents that contains both loading and offloading.
A private person, a private individual.
If you are not using it are you using it for commercial?
No.
You say private individual. If you are not using it for commercial, that is not applicable. But if you are using it for commercial, of course, definitely you have to pay.
Okay.
All right.
Hello. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, my name is Olufemi Kaz.
Okay, let's hear you, Olufemi.
Yeah, I'm calling you from Lukwe in Abuja here.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the chairman of the revenue board is trying to be smart with the answering of the question. And I think this time around, we need to justice ourselves the truth. I'm not talking that he's not aware of the hooligans, the thugs that harass people on the way. One almost caused an accident inside the federal housing yesterday. You know, we were 3-4 going. Then we just jumped at the front of the car, brought a long stick, and, you know, it immediately stopped this woman on the way because the woman was carrying the locks. You understand? You cannot tell me that you're not aware of the shenanigans of these guys on the road. I think if you want to put in, this is a city, our model city. We should not be using thugs, hooligans, to implement our policies. It is totally wrong. And at times, when you go through around the other side, okay, you cannot be driving and making calls. Are you with me?
I'm with you. Go ahead. 1 minute, please.
Driving and making calls. You know, probably you had a call, you park beside the road to answer your call, so then you just come out and still harassing you.
Okay, thank you so much. Talking about parking your vehicle to answer a call. One of the callers said that last
year.
Yes, this thing, that one was, in fact, it was a serious problem in the past 1 or 2 months. But the council has taken steps and has abolished, before now, if you are driving on the way, you will see some marshals with AMAC marshal uniform, you know, arresting wrong parking and other things. But when the public cry became so serious, the chairman immediately disbanded them and even made a press statement that if you find anybody on the street operating or stopping any vehicle in the name of AMAC, get him arrested.
Okay, is there any form of training on these officials who go out to collect revenue on behalf of AMAC? Is there some sort of training?
Of course.
In the manner in which they should approach citizens? Of
course, in our routine activities, we have training and retraining of revenue officers so that they know the courtesies. It's not about going there as thugs. And that is why we have set up a task force now, because somebody asked that question. He was trying to say, what is AMAC doing in order to get fish out some of those miscreants? I want to inform you and announce to the world that the council has set up a task force that is moving now, checking all those revenue tabs so that we get those that are not our officials arrested.
Okay, just in 1 minute, because I know some people actually mentioned it, and she also said, is there a stipulate? Is it in the bylaw of AMAC to collect radio and TV levy?
It's not just in the bylaw; it is a provision of the law.
What of the Cashion's provision?
Check the taxes and levies list of approved list for collection act, which I quoted here. This is there. If you even look at
what of the current gas emission
that you
tax
mentioned
that you
about?
yeah, if you go and look for the Federal Environmental Protection Agencies Act, Section 3 there provides that a local government should control gaseous emission because of the hazard it is causing to the environment.
Okay, so what would you say to the person listening to you who has been extorted? Is there a contact that the person can reach you on?
Yes, I want to say with a very clear voice that taxpayers in AMAC should be very, very conscious of who is coming to them to ask for tax for any form of payment. My contacts are, let me call my phone number so that anybody that 080
Okay.
36
Okay.
222
Okay.
513. And if it's WhatsApp, 081 70 91 81 51.
Okay, thank you so much. Chef Neka, your last word in 30 seconds, because our time is far spent.
I will speak to food vendors. For food vendors, I think it's high time we all know what we are supposed to pay. It's not that, you just start food business. We should know what we are supposed to, as provided by the law, so that nobody comes to you or harasses you or tells you to do otherwise. And thank you for having me.
That means there is a knowledge gap. So AMAC would work with the council, AMAC, to ensure that we sensitize the citizen, because so many people do not really know what they need to pay. Before you start up a business, you should make inquiries. If you are in the FCT, if you are in AMAC, you kindly go to the council to say, how much am I supposed to pay? What are the levies? So that it will help you in coming up with your business. Our time is fast spent. My colleagues are seriously saying, wind up, and at the time is fast spent. Sorry, we cannot accommodate any more call. We really must go.
All right, Adobe, we must go. Information is power. If you are not informed, you are deformed. Please visit the news page of our website, primognews.org. That is primognews.org. For all the details of our report and interviews, visit our website, primog.org, to get all the information about Primog.
And you can watch our videos on Primog TV, our YouTube channel. I want to encourage you to please subscribe to get reminders when we have a new post. We sincerely appreciate our guest, Abuja-based Chef Neka. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
For having me.
And Honorable Dan Lami Awaje, the Chief Revenue Officer at AMAC, and the Senior Lecturer and Head of Department Public and International Law at Bayes University, Dr. Sam Amadi, who spoke to us via the phone. Public Conscience on Radio is supported by the John D. and Catherine P. MacArthur Foundation, committed to building a more just, verdant, and peaceful world. Get more information about the foundation on its website, macfound.org.
Join us again here next week for another episode of Public Conscience. And remember to follow us on Facebook, Instagram at Official Primog. I am Chidozie Obonnaya.
And remember that you can give us information or hint about corrupt acts through our phone 090-2265-6167 or info@primog.org. I am Adalvi Obiamumo. Stay safe.